don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. We sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome. This is the 388th episode of the Political Spotlight. I'm your host, Kristopher H. Bilbrey. Producer Kate is with us back home again in Indiana, joining us from the Winchester studio. And we're going to be with you here in just a moment. I'm in the process of trying to send a link to someone here in just 1 second. Give me one moment, man. And I tell you what I'm really upset about is tonight we're going to be talking about a couple different things. We've got a lot to discuss tonight. Our last actual show was Thursday, and then Friday we did a Madison County show. And actually all day Friday I wanted to talk about something else, but I had already promised Catherine Friday night time slot, plus we had guests coming on besides Catherine. If it was just Catherine, I would have kicked her off to another night, but we had guests that we had already been promising and we'd already been putting out, so we had to roll. Then I thought about going on Saturday night, but Kate was going to be in transit, and I thought I need a night off. And then I thought, all right, we'll do it Sunday. Well, then Sunday, midday Sunday, I remembered that there was the International Frisbee Championship that was going on last night. So then I thought, well, damn, I cannot do this tonight. So then I thought, well, okay, no big deal. We'll just do it Monday. Well, then Monday came, and so much stuff was going on today. And literally one of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight, I was just getting some more information about, but because of how it was coming through, I'm not going to be able to talk about it. So I just want to give you this information, and it's going to be like Wednesday before we can get to it. So Dustin Clark, we're going to be talking about Dustin Clark tonight. We're going to be talking about some more money from Mark. And if you like this show and you like what we do here and you don't want us to just quit and pack up forever, then we need you to give us some likes and to share the show. We don't ask for money. We don't ask for your email addresses to send you stuff or to sell you things. We just need your likes and your shares and your hugs and your kisses. That's all we need. That's all we'll ever ask of you. And if you want to follow us and follow what we're talking about during the nights, a lot of times you can see ahead of time by what we post on social medias. There's all that for you there. So tonight we're going to be talking in one of our segments about Dustin and some just insane money stuff. But I'm literally right now, even while I'm talking, still getting some messages in from a source. Reference Dustin, reference some Dustin stuff from just, I can't really say much more about it. Man, I'm telling you, the tides are turning at City Hall. I think the people are pissed off with Dustin, and I think the people are pissed off at Dan because of Dustin. And I've got a message for sure. The Wiggly, the female Wiggly, whatever the Wiggly name is, the one that talks like this. Listen, if you've got something, yes, either one, Jeff Walls, I'm down with either one. Or if you don't like the show, but you're just addicted to bull. Yes, that's right. Absolutely. That's Alva. Alva hates me and the show, but he's lives a lonely life where he's just addicted to watching. He cannot stop. He was addicted to cocaine, and then he got addicted. This is kind of like his replacement therapy. He got addicted to the show, and he let the blow go, but now he's addicted to this. So it is what it is. So I'm hoping this week, number one, I'm hoping to get my record request about Adam, but I can't even almost fit all the stuff into weeks anymore. I have so much stuff going on. Yeah, Space Cat, it is about time that people get mad about what's going on there. Just absolutely crazy. I'm here trying to understand the mindset of the Trump folks. I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. I'm here trying to understand the mind folk. Maybe this, Tweety Bird, this is the thing I have to ask these people. I wake up every day to these people that post like, well, it's day number something, and I just want to know if, what's happening. I'm like, dude, did something happen over the night? Did something specifically in your little nest in the world happen to you? Did Trump come down and touch you? What specifically happened that's the very first thing that I heard, I don't know if it was Jason Hammer. I think it was Jason Hammer talking about it today. He was like, dude, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. There's people who, before they even get out of bed and pee in the morning, their very first thing is to get on social media and be like, well, what did Trump do now? And I'm like, dude, at least pee first. But it's just... and doing a really good damn job at it too. Isn't that crazy? Did you hear about the polls coming out from CNN and ABC? We'll talk about all that. I cannot let you get me into Trump derangement weirdness and throw me off. We've got a lot of show we'll get to the derangement Trump syndrome stuff towards the end. We've got a lot of show to get through tonight. Okay. So here's the deal. We're going to be talking about God. So we got Dustin Clark invoices. We've got Indy star Michael J. Hicks hating on JD Prescott. Good stuff. We've got House Bill 1186 to information to talk about. House Bill 1628 to talk about. And then towards the end, we'll talk about the big game, a little bit of review of that and some trunk stuff. Okay, so first and foremost, what are we going to do? What order are we going to take this in? What? Or, yes, right. They were mad that he was saluting during the because it burns their ass that he's the commander in chief. Like, I don't even know. Tweety Bird says, I've sent you Michael Hicks columns before. Psst, hey, they're in the paper. I read them weekly. I like reading his stuff. I don't agree with a lot of things that he says, but I appreciate you. So anytime somebody reads something that they think that I'll like, whether it's a YouTube video or an article, send it to me. I like that stuff because there might be a day where I miss something. I generally try to read Michael Hicks. You acted like you didn't. Oh, no. How did I act like I didn't read Michael Hicks? Because I was shocked that he called himself a conservative? No, I read him quite frequently. That's why I'm shocked that he calls himself a conservative. So, okay, here's the thing. First and foremost, let's do this. Oh yeah, no. I like reading his stuff. It's interesting. Okay, so first and foremost, let's do this. Let me pull this up here, and then this will give me a little bit of a better kind of it'll help me keep on my toes. Okay. Oop. No. Oop. There we go. That looks good. And we'll do this. Man, we got a busy week ahead of us. We've got a bunch of crazy stuff going on down at the State House tomorrow and Wednesday. We've got a Madison County Council meeting tomorrow. We've got tomorrow night's craziness with Catherine because of that. And then we've got another crazy thing on Wednesday, and then we've got just then we got regular show stuff the rest of the week. It's gonna be a wild week. But you guys will get a good good week's worth of shows out of it all. That's the thing. Okay. Yeah. I did see that. All right. So here we got going on. Okay. So, first and foremost, we'll do it this way. House Bill 1186 updates. Okay. Just so everybody is totally aware of what's going on. That's why we were running about 3 minutes behind on time. I had tonight's show built and put in the studio and everything, but I didn't. I was trying to go ahead and get tomorrow's and Wednesdays, and I did not succeed on getting Wednesdays in, but I did get tomorrow's. So, House Bill 1186. I want you guys to understand there are roughly 20 to 30 House bills that I'm watching, that I'm interested in, either because I like or I hate. Mostly that I hate. I hate most of them. There are a couple that I like or support, not many. Out of 1257. Out of 1,257 House bills, there are 30 that are catching my attention, of which 26 of them suck. And so 4 are like, okay, I could be all right. I would actually be better if they just completely, they came in tomorrow morning and they said, we are not doing any more State House stuff this year. We're closing down. We're letting our guys and gals off. They're working too hard. They're overworked, working 2 days a week, three months out of the year. They are inundated. We're going to send them home for some, rest and recuperation. We're going to let them rock and roll, because we would be better as a state if they did that. I'm fine just paying their money and double their salary. I don't even care at this point. Just don't let them pass any bills. Man. So 1186, Indiana House Bill 1186. This is the police jurisdiction training reserve off-duty employment bill. And there have been so many people complaining to the state representatives. The author of the bill was actually, for the first time this weekend, engaging with people on social media. One of our guests that we had on last week, who I'm hearing is a crowd favorite, Elias Donker, that the officer that was on the lower left-hand corner, everybody loved him. I'm hearing that from people. Either loved him or they hated him, and I'm saying it's the same thing. So the people that loved him for the very same reason that people hated him. And to me, when you're a cop, it's love and hate's the same thing. So I love that guy. He's hardcore, and I love him. I think he's amazing. But he actually has prepared a letter, and he's going to the State House tomorrow to just stand out there and passing this letter out. Just there you go. He's taking like a ticket book, and he's writing that stuff off and handing them out. And I love that he's doing that. That guy's hardcore. So that makes me happy. Maybe I'll try to see if we can get him. Like, I might go live for a minute and have him call in or something and tell how he's going. I got to text to him about that. We'll find out. But I think he's doing a great job. I love what he's doing. Very passionate. And now what's starting to happen about this is there's so much going on here that state representatives are telling people stuff that's not accurate. They're telling people what they think rather than what is. There's so much lies behind this. In committee last Tuesday or Wednesday, the author lied. He lied during committee, and he got caught. And the Indiana Marshals Association came out and busted him out on it. Like, actually released a statement. And I'm just like, I cannot even wrap my mind around everything that is going on with this. It's like, you got to kill this bill, man, because this is, at this point, it's really getting crazy. And I just don't understand. And I want to read this to you. I'm going to put it up here and let everybody see this, but I'm going to read this so it is officially out there, because we live streamed the meeting. And so his lie, Representative Steve Bartle's lie, went out on our live stream. And so I want a chance to correct the record here for everybody that was watching. Okay, here it is. This is from the Indiana Marshals Association, an official statement of the Indiana Marshals Association. in response to Indiana House Bill 1186, authored by Representative Steve Bartles of District 74. The Indiana Marshals Association does not support House Bill 1186 as written. All right. I want to say that line again. The Indiana Marshals Association does not support House Bill 1186 as written. We are a service organization focused on supporting all law enforcement throughout Indiana. We provide training, resources, and connections of small agencies representing the majority of law enforcement across the state. Although we recognize concerns of abuse of reserve and special deputy programs, we feel as though these isolated incidents are best handled at the local level. Rural Indiana law enforcement relies heavily on our brave men and women who choose to suit up without pay each and every day for the betterment of Hoosier communities. It should be noted that the IMA does support creating pathways for officers who have faithfully served and received the required training to be granted the same status of any other law enforcement officer in Indiana. However, to make such a provision apply only to Marion County is disrespectful, and we feel it should provide for reserve officers as well. If the state legislature feels there is a need to address off-duty or out-of-jurisdiction employment, this should apply to all officers, regardless of what basic training they have had. We, as Indiana law enforcement, put our lives on the line every day. No officer risking their life who swore an oath to serve and protect our public should be viewed or governed any differently than any other while serving our communities. We appreciate the support and work of our members, and we hope this bill will create further conversation on needed reforms to our Indiana Law Enforcement Academy tier system, ILEA. Signed Executive Board of the Indiana Marshals Association. This is a major statement because Bartles, in at least 2 committee hearings, has lied, stating that this organization backed the bill. So at this point, I think to save face, it would just make the most sense if this bill could just be allowed to go ahead and expire without any more push forward. And we can come at this again next year, maybe with a different author and maybe with a little bit more input from the various entities and agencies throughout Indiana. I understand that the Indiana Troopers Association, or that the Indiana State Troopers, just as an organization, may love this bill. Indiana State Troopers do not rely on reserves. They are paid handsomely for the work that they do, and they do dangerous work. I don't know that I would compare them to police officers, say, in the Muncie, Indiana Police Department or Fort Wayne. I don't know that I would compare troopers to doing the same work that IMPD does. I don't know that I would put those officers in the same category as those in Yorktown or Daleville or Albany or Spiceland or Louisville or Lynn or Union City. Troopers, on the whole, normally do not answer 911 calls for service while they are out on the roadways, and that is dangerous, and the highways, and that is dangerous. And pulling over cars, traffic stop can be one of the most dangerous things that a police officer does. I do recognize that. Just in and of themselves, they're not normally getting dispatched to a call for a domestic where they are the only one. Normally they are a backup type of officer going to those other calls or whatnot. And all law enforcement, I don't care where you are, just putting on the idiots that work at Geek Squad at Best Buy who get badges for that for whatever reason. Those idiots, when they strap on that badge in the morning going to work and they think, oh, I'm going to go in and get free coffee at Subway or Starbucks, those idiots put themselves in danger, because if you get somebody that hates a cop to the point of, they don't, they don't fear the needle, and they go in and they just plug the guy that's got the badge on, and they're like, oh shit, he works at he's a Geek Squad. That's why I always tell those guys, don't wear that shit until you get to work. So I'm not putting down troopers. I'm just saying they do a different job, but they always think that they're better than everybody else. So for them to come out and be like, yes, we are against this. Of course they would be. Of course they would be. But they're not thinking. It's those really tight collars they wear. So, but I just think that it's bizarre, and I would like to hear from the other associations, the chiefs of police. I would like to exactly hear what Bartles told them and what exactly they agreed to or didn't agree to. And I think the fact that the Indiana Marshals Association came out and called him out on this is a big thing. So just FYI, before we move on, this will go to committee. This will be heard in committee, and it's the Courts and Criminal Code Committee on Wednesday at 10:30 a.m. We will live stream that full committee meeting once again right here at the Political Spotlight, starting at 10:30 a.m. We will live stream that. You'll be able to watch it, hear it, see it right here at 10:30 a.m. on Wednesday morning. That's Wednesday, February 12th. If you don't catch it live, you can watch it via replay. You'll be able to see it right here. That night, we will do a breakdown and decide what we talked about. So that will be here, and we'll have it here for you. I just had to reserve, get in a pursuit, and Caddis ended near Madison County line. It took a trooper to respond to county several minutes. If this bill passes, places like Marklettville couldn't help. I know. That's Taylor. It's going to be a bad deal. And I hope that people are paying attention, because these state representatives, when they go home, they'll be living in these little areas where their families, I'm not trying to say anything to threaten anybody, but they just need to be understanding that it's going to affect their families, and this is why it's important for people to, I guess to suit up and start buying the ammo that you need, because, that's just a good idea anyways, but, it is what it is. Okay. So we'll be live streaming that on Wednesday. You'll be able to see it right here. I will get that link up very soon, and you guys will be able to watch it. So that's that. Okay. Now moving on to Indiana House Bill 1628. And this is a House bill that we've mentioned here a little bit in passing, but we've not said much about it. But this is heating up. This actually has a committee hearing tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., and you can catch it right here. Matter of fact, the link is already up. We've already got it rocking and rolling. It will be here at 10:30 tomorrow morning. And this, my friends, this is the House bill that's just really an unfortunate. It's really unfortunate. This is the House bill that would give the state sole authority to regulate the sitting and construction of multi-jurisdictional infrastructure projects across multiple Indiana counties. It would remove the power of local government to approve or deny zoning permits and other land use decisions for multi-jurisdictional infrastructure projects. Okay. This is industrial solar and industrial wind. This is green energy, new green energy deals that the state is saying, we think we know better than you. We here in room 156B inside the Indiana State House feel like we understand better than the commissioners of Kosciuszko County, which is ludicrous. Absolutely ludicrous. It's nuts that this could legitimately become a thing. And I think I think tomorrow they're going to vote, and I could be wrong. But if they vote tomorrow on this, I think it sends it to the full House before going over to the Senate. And so this is a big deal. Everybody and their brother in government has been fighting this. Anybody that's that understands how government should work has been fighting this, or should have been fighting this. I'm getting this pulled up here so we can look at it. Okay. And listen, what a joke this is. It's called, when you go to it, House Bill 1628, it's called Property Development Matters. Like, it sounds like, oh, this is something nice and friendly. And so this is coming from Representative Craig Snow, okay, who, again, is one of these Republicans that doesn't understand what being constitutionally minded means, doesn't understand what it means to be a conservative, doesn't understand local government. It blows me away. It blows me away how many of these guys we have running around in state government. So this is going to the it's the, what's the name of it? It's something Utilities, Energy, and Telecommunications Committee. And there are I'm sorry for my voice. It is what it is. It's that time of year. This will be heard tomorrow, Tuesday, February 11th. There are 13 members on this committee, 9 Republicans and 4 Democrats. And here's your committee makeup right here. Anybody that is fighting solar in Muncie, in Delaware County, in Gaston, in Yorktown, in Albany, in Royerton, in Cowan or Daleville, wherever, you need to be emailing and calling every one of these people, hitting them up on Facebook, hitting them up wherever you can find them, on Twitter. A lot of them hang out on Twitter. Most of them, Facebook is for their campaigns, and that's it. But if you really want to reach out to them, get them on Twitter. Okay? They'll be going into committee tomorrow at 10:30. I hope they will take testimony, but my belief is they will not. And look here. Look what Kate said. This is really big. Snow got about $10,000 from energy companies. Energy companies.
Now, that's over several campaigns.
Sure.
But collectively, it's about $10,000.
Yeah. So, but that's important. And
how many of these other ones have gotten money from energy companies?
Yeah. Tell people where you go to find that.
Followthemoney.org.
It's very easy.
Anybody up.
Yep.
You can see their top donors, their top industries that have donated to them. It's pretty amazing.
It's very helpful. It's very we use a lot.
Website, followthemoney.org.
Yeah.
Really easy to remember too.
Yeah. Followthemoney.org. Very, 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 very easy. Very good. If we allow the state overreach like this, where does it stop? It doesn't stop. It does not stop. That's the problem. They're allowing testimonies, but it might be just from those who didn't get to testify last Tuesday. I don't know when they'll be voting on it. Well, I hope they're allowing testimony, and I hope they will allow testimony of people that go. It'll be interesting to see what goes on. If you want to watch this, okay, if you can't go down there and be part of it, we will be live streaming this from this channel. You can watch it from the IGA website, but some people, the IGA website's not the most user-friendly website. You've got to go in, you've got to find this, and you've got to click this, and you've got to go here, you've got to click this, you got to know where to go. Is it bill action or recent bill stuff? And it's really hard. So we cut out all of the drama and all of the headache, and you can just go to the Political Spotlight on Facebook, on X, or on YouTube, and we live stream it all right here. Yeah, the like Kate said, the IGA website is a pain in the ass. Absolutely. So, yeah, right. Janet says, I don't know if you saw my previous message. I did see that. I know that you sent it to me something about that to me recently. I love hearing that. Denise Spooner is going to testify tomorrow against it, and that'll be great. For anyone that has not had a chance to hear Denise Spooner, this is like her bread and butter. She's a realtor who got into the anti-green energy, anti-solar, anti-wind deal, and she is a mastermind at this. Very, very smart, very good with the whole anti-industrial green energy crap. Very good when it comes to fighting them attempting to take home rule away. So yeah, she's a great speaker, a great person to have on our side. She's just absolutely wonderful. I've had the chance to be in and around her and work with her and listen to her several times over the years. And she's wonderful. Very, very well informed. She comes with receipts. She's somebody that when she doesn't just speak, she lays out the facts, and she's got the information to back it up. So that's awesome. Does she have a boat? I think that's Schooner, but so yeah. Okay. So we'll be live streaming that right here, and you can watch it here live 1628. You can watch it right here live tomorrow morning at 10:30. I've already got the link up, and so you can go right there. Matter of fact, if you go there tonight, and if you've subscribed to the channel, if you haven't, consider subscribing. Doesn't cost you anything. hit subscribe, and then hit the bell. And if you hit all, that'll be cool. But you can actually go to the video and hit notify me, and it will actually then notify you when we go live tomorrow. So that's something that you can do and you can look forward to. So it's a good thing, and I would definitely go check that out and watch that tomorrow. It's very big. It's very, 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 very important that this also, like 1186, it's very important that this does not continue forward. And Tweety Bird said something a minute ago before we move on that I want to address. She said that Trump put a stop to solar for a couple of days, and then he rescinded it. Listen, I'm not against solar or wind. I'm not in favor of saying, okay, well, we're not gonna do oil anymore. We're not gonna do coal. It's gonna be all, we're gonna do away with cow farts, and it's all gonna be solar and wind, and we're gonna live kumbaya. I'm not like that. I'm saying let's do it all. Let's do, there's places where solar and where wind is appropriate. I'm not anti solar and anti wind. I am anti killing farmlands for it. I am anti industrial solar and wind in Delaware County because of how it has been presented. I'm okay with someone privately doing something, having it in your yard. I'm okay with putting it on brownfields. I'm okay with putting it on top of buildings. I'm okay with the conversation. I just don't want anything jammed down our throats. And I sure as hell don't want anyone to take away any power from my elected officials, because I know we have some pretty dumbass elected officials here in Delaware County. But I would much rather deal with those 3, 4, 5, 9, 10, couple of elected officials locally than having to try to fight it out with the 150 at the state house, because there's only 1, 2, 3, in our corner there. And then when you get past that, someone down in Evansville, they don't care what I got to say, So I'm just saying.
Well, and to be fair, if they pass this, they're going to hand it off. If they pass this nonsense,
yeah,
they're going to pass it off to some secretary. So it'll be one person who signs off on them sticking solar or wind wherever the hell they want to.
Yeah.
So all you NIMBY people that have been fighting it in your own localities, we're all going to be NIMBYs.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And just as a quick little aside for everybody in Delaware County, for everybody in Muncie, and mostly it's Muncie, for everybody that's fighting solar, just FYI, your state representative, District 34, Sue Arrington, she supports the bill. She's supportive of 1628. But of course, she's also all of the, mad voters, mad women voters. It's like, take out voters. They're just mad women. You can always tell on their face. There's a bunch of group, pissy, bitchy old women. They're just mad always, and so they support this. That's why elections have consequences, man. We're hearing it every day on Facebook. Remember, if you ever need a reminder that elections have consequences, just wake up and go on social media. There are people out there telling us that every day. Give me a second here. I gotta get I gotta send a message to the hand. Water. Okay, so. Okay. Yeah, the women league, the mad women. Yeah, but you're not a mad woman, Brad. You're just a mad voter, not a mad woman. There's a difference. I almost was going to leave that up. Never mind. I'll not with Brad, but okay. So let's talk about this deal with well, because I'm not seeing any mad men get up at I'm just kind of given a hard time to the 3 or 4, all those the Sue Arrington girlfriends that get up, those same people. That one that's like a doctor and the other that's like a doctor. Those 2 or 3 women that always get up in Delaware County. You know what I'm talking about. I forget what their names are, but you know who I'm talking about. Okay, so this is going to be my most favorite part of this whole entire thing to talk about. And this is I wish it wasn't Hicks. I wish there was no S at the end. I wish it was just Hick. I wish it was Michael Hick, because then I could have called the segment Hick on Prick. I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about a way to do that this whole time. I was thinking like maybe I could rope his family into it because of the farm. Then it could be Hicks on Pricks, but Hicks on Prescott, it just doesn't have the same ring to it. But let's talk about this. Okay, so this was published on Friday, it looks like. So Michael Hicks, for all of you people that know or don't know, for all of you that don't get the Tweety Bird Hicks report, and I'm just giving you a hard time. I love it. Michael Hicks is an economist. Aren't we all economists? He's a real life economist, apparently, or plays one on TV. And he's a professor at Ball State University. Now, I've been following his articles and reading his articles forever. Forever. He's been writing for a long time, and I've been following them forever. I have never thought. Let me say it like this, because there's people all over this that are like butthurt about this. I've never read Michael Hicks and thought, this guy and myself, we share the same political beliefs. I don't care. You want to call him conservative, Republican, Democrat, Libertarian, whatever. Well, you don't care what you want to call me, whatever. I've just never thought we share the same political beliefs. I have always thought, and the only thing I have to base this off of is his words. The words that he himself have sent to the paper for other people to read and make assumptions and based off of what he has presented to me. I've always thought that we were on different political sides. Doesn't make me hate him. Doesn't make me think he's a bad guy. I'm just telling you a fact. I like a lot of Democrats. I'm friends with a lot of Democrats. I'm friends with progressives. Amazing. Okay. I'm not progressive. I wish they weren't progressive, but it is what it is. So I don't have any ill will towards Michael. I'm glad he's not an elected official. And, you know, I'm interested to, I guess I'd be interested to know what he's teaching the kids, you know, but I know someone that took his class and they said that, you know, his class was pretty standard. It wasn't, you know, really indoctrination or anything. It was just economics. So that's that. I've never, ever, 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 ever thought to myself, oh, this guy is a conservative. Just never done it. So I wake up the other day and he has put forth a piece, and it's really interesting because it was so confusing, because there were parts of this that I was like, what? No, that doesn't make any sense. But then there were other parts of this that I was like, yes, he is spot on. Okay, so let's just read this. So I think that could be the problem a little bit. He's quote unquote presented himself. Maybe he's been more like a rhino, I guess. I hate those words. Anyways, before he called me too woke, I hate that word, woke. Before he called me too woke, this Indiana lawmaker wanted my advice, opinion. I've publicly spoken and written against the excesses of university DEI programs and in support of school choice. Not really woke, right? Michael J. Hicks. In a recent legislative committee meeting on university budgets, State Representative J.D. Prescott, Republican from Union City, criticized my employer, Ball State University, because some staff members have said things he disagreed with. Go figure. He specifically mentioned me, suggesting that I'm too woke. I confess to not know precisely what he means by woke. I don't think he does either. I'm a lifelong conservative. Now, when I was reading this, I was like, oh, he's going to crap on JD. This is going to be great. When I got to this line, I'm a lifelong conservative, I was shocked. Okay. I write and speak about conservative positions on the most fundamental economic issues of the day. Anatomy of a so-called woke college professor. I am a retired American soldier, an infantry officer. I commanded hundreds of soldiers, walked combat patrol, fought in 2 large tank battles, and cleared enemy bunkers with a pistol and hand grenades. I've loaded wounded men onto helicopters in the midst of minefields and dug foxholes on 4 continents. I am partially disabled by service, which included well over 1,000 nights in the field, over 8 years of active duty, and 22 as a reservist. And to that I say thank you for your service, my guy. Awesome. You got my respect because of that. Now, I think it's strange that he's like, I'm a conservative. See, I was a soldier. I know a lot of liberals that were soldiers. All right. Like being someone, and for all of you that are commenting right now, I'm off screen. So don't think I'm ignoring your comments. Kate, if there's anything good, start. I'll come back to it. But I'm off screen because I'm having to go through the paper. So just FYI, I wanted to put that out there. I'll get back to your comments here in a minute. Come on with them, and I'll look at it here in a minute. I think it's weird when people do that. Like, I'm okay. You're allowed to be a Democrat and be a military person. One of the biggest, most progressive local people here, who always is vocal and fighting with conservatives here locally, Cameron Grubbs, he was the military. So, like, I think that's weird that he's like, I'm a conservative, see? Here's my DD-214. I've looked at DD-214s before, and I've never noticed anywhere on there where it says stamped conservative. That's kind of funky. But that being said, thank you for your service. That earns you respect in my book. Okay, so I will tell him that. He goes on and he says, my father and brother and all my uncles are veterans, as are my wives. One died in combat and 4 retired from that service. Our line of military service stretches back almost unbroken to before the American Revolution. My children can boast at least 2 ancestors, one from each side of the family who served together at Valley Forge. Perhaps that's why all 3 of my kids chose to serve in uniform. Again, that's badass. And thanks for their service and all of your family members' service. Thank you. That's awesome. I believe in service to my nation. Okay. I think that Democrats could say that they believe in service to their nation too, maybe in different ways. Definitely maybe in the military. I think that's odd that he's, again, using this as saying that, but okay. Moving on. This is funny. I'm a lifelong United Methodist. Okay. Like the most liberal of the churches. Okay. And I've been married for 34 years. I've coached Little League baseball, youth soccer, and done plenty of community volunteering. I believe in support for institutions, both private and public. I've been an active researcher for a quarter century and first an expert on the benefits of coal industry provided to communities. My research was used by coal industry to defend against Army Corps of Engineers restrictions in a federal court case. But that research was also balanced. I provided the financial design for taxes that funded the largest surface mine reclamation fund in the world. Like almost every successful researcher, I look for truth. Perhaps that's why my research on a number of topics has been published by such places as the Cato Journal, Libertarian Conservative, as well as the Brookings Institute, Liberal Progressive. I'm on the board of scholars for the Mackinac Center for Public Policy, a free market think tank, and 2 distinguished conservative thinkers have written forwards to my books, Lawrence Reed and Mitch Daniels. I've been frequently quoted in publications across the political spectrum, but mostly by conservatives. In his columns, George Will has twice cited my studies on trade, as did the authors on Project 2025. Phil Graham and Stephen Moore both cited my research favorably in the Wall Street Journal, and that paper's editors highlighted my work on Michigan's silly tax incentives. I've publicly spoken and written against the excesses of university DEI programs and in support of school choice in this paper. I'm a strong constitutionalist and support all the articles, not just Article 2, which empowers the president. See what he did there? I support all the amendments, not just the Second Amendment, though it's my favorite. It's my second favorite. I'm not willing to... Guess what his first favorite is? I'm not willing to toss out our Article 1, which enumerates the powers of Congress, or the 14th Amendment, because it clearly states birthright citizenship. Woke? No, it's the oath I took. Prescott's woke comments are puzzling. All right, now, so in that first section, all he did, it's kind of like being like, I'm not racist, I've got a black friend. That kind of thing. That's what that whole kind of article felt like, that first part. But all right, cool, conservative, whatever. All right, cool. It's a spectrum, man. He's just... are still left of mine. I don't know. I don't know how else to tell you there. Again, I'm not saying he's not whatever. I'm just saying I don't think that he and I have the same political beliefs. That's what I started out saying. Keep that in mind. Next, now we go on now to Prescott's woke comments are puzzling. All of Prescott's comments are puzzling. Okay. And what is the deal with this picture? What a weird ass picture. This dude cannot take a good picture to save his life. He needs to be like, please don't picture me. Because he always looks like a baby bird in every picture he takes. My guy out here with a 3-foot neck. I also believe each of us. Okay, let me see. Where are we at? Okay. Prescott's woke comments are puzzling, but then he comes back to talking about himself. I also believe each of us deserve to be treated with respect and human dignity, without regard to what language we speak, who we worship, the color of our skin or hair, what gender we claim, or where our parents were born. I got that from famously woke Gospel of Matthew. I think that Prescott thinks that makes me woke. If so, I plead guilty. But I am puzzled by his comments. Last summer, when the first iteration of the Braun-Beckwith tax plan was announced, Prescott asked Ball State senior leadership to speak with me regarding that tax proposal. Because keep in mind, Prescott was working on a tax plan that was different than the Braun-Beckwith tax plan, and he was working on it with Beckwith. Keep that in mind. Beckwith admitted on our show that he was working with Prescott on Prescott's tax plan, even while Braun was working on his. And it was very weird because then a friend also of Beckwith and JD, Corey Criswell, went to Henry County and said, the Braun plan is bad. It's trash. We don't want to support it. We're not going to support it. He talked really bad about it. So it was wild. Okay. Very strange things still going on here. So Prescott, it wasn't Prescott's bill, folks. He's not that smart. He was given this by the HRCC. He was allowed to do this by the HRCC telling him he could do it. He doesn't do anything without getting their approval. He worked on it with Beckwith. We've put that whole thing out there for you. Go back and we'll see all that in other shows. But Prescott wanted to talk with this Ball State professor. Listen, and it's my opinion that if Prescott thought that this guy was woke, like last week, he thought he was probably woke last month, 2 months ago in June. Like, he probably didn't stop thinking this guy was, on the left or some point, he's always been a college professor. And I know the way that JD thinks, that to him, that means he's got to be left, but it still doesn't mean that JD didn't seek him out. Okay. So that's number one, but this is about JD, not about Hicks. Okay. Last summer, when the first iteration of the Braun-Beckwith plan was announced, Prescott asked Ball State senior leadership to speak with me regarding the tax proposal. We spent an hour and a half talking about the plan. I laid out the pros and cons regarding tax indices and the potential for spurring investment at the risks to local government. I especially emphasized the risk to his district's schools, which would likely have to quickly consolidate under the revenue losses. JD does not care about his schools. Okay. He cares about two things and two things only. He cares about doing what the HRCC tells him to do. And he cares then if it doesn't run differently than what the HRCC says, then he cares about helping out his parents' farm. Those are the only two things that he cares about. He was not concerned with any of those issues. Go figure. Focusing instead on the potential tax increase on his farm. See, listen to me, folks. I had read this, obviously, and I knew that was coming. But the first time that I read this and I didn't know it was coming, I stopped and I said that exact same thing, because that's who Prescott is. Keep in mind, as Prescott is somebody I know very, very, very well. I worked on his campaign in 2018, the very first campaign. I know who Prescott is very well. Okay. Listen to what Hicks says. He was not concerned with any of those issues about schools and the pros and the cons. He was instead worried about the potential tax increase on his farm. I understand that concern from any citizen, but as a legislator, I don't understand his lack of interest in the other issues. We both agree that the original Braun-Beckwith plan was a disaster. So maybe some of my wokeness was rubbing off on him. We live in bizarre times, and each of us has a duty to bring more sanity to them. My conservative views are much the same way as they were when a 17-year-old I took my first oath to the Constitution. I've tried to live a life of faithful fealty to those ideas. No doubt I've fallen short, but the ideas remain timeless and worth defending. That includes freedoms of expression. If Prescott thinks I'm so woke that Ball State should silence me or see its budget cut, then he should also explain to his constituents why he scampered off to consult with a woke professor the moment he feared a tax increase. That's a good point. I imagine they would have many questions about his concern over their issues. In the meantime, he ought to apologize to the university, its alumni, and its colleagues for wasting their time with petty, divisive nonsense, and then read the Bill of Rights. It's definitely anti-woke. Okay, so first of all, I want to say, I agree with what Hicks is saying about Prescott. Prescott is someone that is only and solely concerned about his well-being, his political well-being. That's the reason why number one in Prescott's concern list, concern house, is what can I do to make Todd Houston love me more? What can I do to show him I am willing to do whatever he wants? All he has to do is tell me, and I am there. How high do you want me to jump, Daddy? Is what he says. Daddy, I'll jump this high. Chill, Daddy. Okay, I'll jump. So just want you to know that's all that Prescott cares about. Then a distant second, a vast distant second, is as long as something does not run concurrent of what the HRCC wants, if it is able to help my other daddy and my ma's farm, then I'm supportive of that. Outside of the HRCC and outside of his ma and pa's farm, he cares about nothing else. Prescott, 18, okay, let's see, 18 to 19, 19 to 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. In the 7 years that Prescott has been at the State House, he has never done one damn thing to help the people of District 33, ever. He's helped his parents. And if by some bizarre, strange turn of events, him helping his parents has led to help to other people, because it has, because there's more than his parents that are farmers, then okay. But he didn't do it for them. He did it for his family. That is not a good elected official. JD is not a public servant. He is a self-serving knob. Okay? He's gross. He does not like the Constitution. He does not like people. He will not speak with people. He does not like the idea that people have constitutional rights. He does not like the idea of redressing the government. I'm going to say something now that is really, I think, would be really controversial. It shouldn't be, as long as you're listening to what I say. I want to preface this by saying something. My name is Kristopher H. Bilbrey, and I'm telling you this as of 10:15 p.m. Eastern on Monday, February 10th. I fully believe that Jesus Christ is my Lord and Savior. I believe that Jesus died and he rose 3 days later and ascended into heaven, and that the only way to heaven is through Jesus. That's my belief. I am a Christian. Okay? I believe that JD is a Christian of sorts. I am not here to judge his belief, to judge his character. I know that he has done things politically that would make me question where his belief lies. But I'm going to tell you what the issue is. There are a lot of people that come to JD's aid and say he is a conservative. No, he's not. And I'm going to explain to you why. JD is a Christian conservative. He is not a constitutional conservative. Now, you can be both, and if you are both, that's fantastic. That's wonderful. You can also be one or the other, and that's also good. And I'm not here to tell you who you should believe in or what faith you should have or have faith at all. You do you, man. That's between you and who or whatever you believe in, okay? I'm just telling you where I stand. I'm telling you what I think is going on with Prescott. I also think it's going on with Beckwith. I think it's going on a lot with what happens here, okay? What I mean by Christian conservative, I mean, JD is very much the type of thought that, like, women should wear long hair, wear dresses, not work, stay back, be subservient of the man, which, look, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with any of that. I'm just saying JD gets to wear this conservative belief, constant political conservative belief, because he pushes out that he is a Christian conservative. Now, again, I think that there are things that he has done that make me question even if that's true. But I will not do that. I'll allow that to be between him and his God. I'm just telling you, he is not a political, constitutional conservative. He's just simply not. He's not. He's done things that run counter to those beliefs. But people intermix the two and get those confused. He's friends with Beckwith because of his faith. If Beckwith was honest with himself, he would know that JD is not a constitutional conservative. Period. And I ask anybody to prove me wrong with JD. Show me why he is a conservative. Prove to me why you believe he's a conservative, a constitutional conservative. Okay? And I'll tell you and I'll prove to you why you're wrong. That being said, I love this deal on Hicks. I think it's hilarious. I don't particularly care. I don't particularly care if Hicks is conservative, liberal, Republican, Democrat. Does not affect me one bit. However, it does affect me what J.D. Prescott is and does. Okay. And again, I hope that JD's a Christian. I hope that's true. Because of my belief, I hope that he is. But because of where he's at the State House, I also have a right to hope that he's one thing, but I know that he's not. That's a concern. You know, and I want to be really clear on this. You can be the best I believe being a good being a good Christian could help you be a good elected official, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you will be. You could be an excellent Christian and just not be a good elected official. Absolutely. Okay. So I want to put that out there. All right. How do I know, Tweety Bird, how do I know he's not what? How do I know he's not a constitutional conservative? Because I can look at his votes. I can look at his actions. I can look at his interactions with the public. I can look at how he's behaved. I helped him run for office, and I told him at the time I was helping him win that at the time he had to beat the person he was running against, but within 6 months' time, I would be working to help defeat him. And I told him that. So at the time, I knew JD. When JD ran, JD did not understand politics. He was running because his dad had ran and been commissioner in the county, and they had money, and his dad and mommy were going to put money up and help him run for the seat. JD was not some political whiz kid. He didn't like, to my knowledge, he never really cared about politics. I thought you said he wasn't a Christian conservative. I said he claims he is. I have reasons to think that he's not because of his actions. Because there's ways that you live a life. I would think if you are things that you do and things that how you act, and I think that he's lived in a way that again runs counter to that. But those are kind of personal beliefs. And also, again, that's not even really my thing. I hope he is. That's what he portrays himself to be. That's how he portrays himself to be. And so I hope that he is. But I don't know. And I particularly don't have a say in that. My main issue is what he does as an elected official. And so that's where I am on there. But he does not. He's not somebody he's not a public servant. Do you think that Trump is a Christian conservative? Listen, Trump claims to be no, back up. Trump is not a Christian conservative in the same way that like Beckwith or Prescott is, or they claim to be. Not at all. No, because of the way that he lives his life and things. Now, does that mean that he's not a Christian? I believe that he says he's a Christian. Okay. He said dumb things, that time when he's like, I could be the second coming. That's stupid. He shouldn't have said that. That's nonsense. He's obviously not the second coming of Christ. That's ridiculous. That's nonsensical. Trump's problem is sometimes he just gets out there and says shit, and he needs to back down. He should not be saying that. He's not the person that's out there, working the land, and his wife's got her hair growing long and they're wearing the skirts. No, he's not a quote unquote, Bible thumping holy roller. Now, could Trump, when he went through the assassination, have had some kind of conversion and, whatever? I hope so. Absolutely. I hope so. And I hope that he continues to work on that. But no, I think that he is very much someone that is confused in that aspect, and he's hopefully working to better himself. I don't even necessarily think that he's a conservative in the way that people are conservative. But we'll get to that more about that a little bit later. So this thing with Prescott and Hicks, I love it. It's interesting. It's really interesting to me to see how people are coming to this and looking at this and talking about different things. It's really interesting to me to see all of the back and forth, and to see all the people that are coming out and really just going hard bashing him, and then the people who are coming to his aid. I think it's really interesting to see how everything's happening. It's really funny. Beckwith decided to get in on this today, of course, because he's got to come for his bro, So he shared the article, and he's like, I'm not one to share many indie star stories, but because they usually just push misinformation, but this one is too good not to share for how stupid it is. Ball State economics professor Michael Hicks refers to himself as a conservative in this piece he wrote. Now, for those of you who don't know Michael Hicks, him saying that he's a conservative is like saying Taylor Swift is the tight end for the Chiefs. Michael Hicks is the poster child for wokeism and leftist nonsense in academia. Now, listen, he could be a liberal. I don't know that he's the poster child for wokeism and leftist. I don't see Hicks out there. He's not dyed half of his bald head purple. I don't hear him out there. I don't know where he stands on, LGBTQ and trans issues. I think they're going real hard the other way. I'm saying I don't think that Michael Hicks is a conservative. You've got Prescott and Beckwith saying, oh, he's the poster child for the left. He's the leader. It's like, dude, come on. You're going too crazy the other way. He says, this is the same guy that is an economist told Hoosiers that inflation wasn't bad under Biden. Yeah, I thought that was crazy. That's those things that Michael said that I thought that's nuts. Okay. And if you're poor or struggling financially, you should just try harder because you're lazy, all while enjoying a $250,000 salary. Now, what's interesting to me, he said he calls Michael Hicks out for having a $250,000 salary. Think about this. Hicks is towards the end of his career as a professor. Okay. He is towards the end of his career, making $250,000 as a professor, as an economics professor, writes for the newspaper, does all these things. Micah is calling him out. Meanwhile, we just find out that the Braun Beckwith team has hired all of these people, and they are now one of the most expensive governor, lieutenant governor teams in Indiana history. That they are hired all these people who are brand new in their jobs, who are definitely politically one-sided. They're definitely part of that political team, making $250,000. Isn't that interesting? Kate said, didn't Braun just give all the secretaries up to $275,000 salaries? So you're thinking about, it's just interesting how hypocritical Micah seems to be here, calling out a man who's towards the end of his career, so he's probably going to be higher in the amount. And I don't really think $250,000 for what Hicks is doing is wildly crazy. Meanwhile, JD Prescott gets what? $65,000 a year to work 2 or 3 days a week for 3 days a month. So 3 days, to work 2 or 3 days a week, 3 months out of the year. If you look at Prescott on the hour, he's getting paid more than Hicks is getting paid. They all just got whopping raises last year. Absolutely. So that's what I think is really interesting about this is, it's funny. They're wanting to call Hicks out because Hicks is making money. Again, I'm not a big Hicks fan, so it's not like I'm defending him here. I just went on a tirade where I was telling you that all this shit about Hicks. So I'm not like someone out here coming out and defending him here. Okay. I just want to be very clear with that. So I think that's interesting. But in this post, Brad's here. So he's on the Mouthwash podcast frequently, like every week. Mouthwash podcast said Hicks is an embarrassment to Ball State University. I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know why he would be any more or less an embarrassment than anyone else. I don't necessarily think that. I don't know. But I replied back and said, yes, okay, very well. If you say it, I'll believe it, whatever. While at the same time, however, Prescott is an embarrassment to public servants. Prescott is an embarrassment to constitutionally minded individuals. Prescott is an embarrassment to people from Union City, people from Randolph County, people from East Central Indiana, people that are bald, people in general. Mouthwash comes back and says, I thought he had a decent property tax plan. To which I said, no, it was not a decent plan. First of all, it wasn't his plan. It was cobbled together by his establishment higher-ups that call every one of his shots for him. Oh, and Beckwith helped in some form of way to push up against Braun in his plan. And it was a plan that he and everyone else around him never planned to see any sunlight. Prescott even said as much on the Kendall and Casey show when he first brought it forward. They started the show by saying, I'm not going to vote on this. This isn't going to see any time or any light of day. I'm just putting it out here. Prescott has never published a bill or supported or published a bill. Prescott has never published a bill or supported or pushed a bill that would benefit his constituents in District 33. His first order of business is doing what Houston and the HRCC say. Then and only then, if there is something that doesn't run counter to what the HRCC wants, and it can help his Pa and Ma's Prescott's farm, JD will push that next. But that's it. HRCC first, Ma and Paul Prescott farm second, and now people will fight me on this because JD is a Christian, which I'm fine with because I believe Christ is my Lord and Savior. But that doesn't mean everyone is a Christian, isn't a good and public servant. Prescott is a Christian conservative, not a constitutional conservative. And yes, people can be both. He just isn't. So again, there was my laying that out. And just for the record, I said the strange thing here is I agree with the Lieutenant Governor Micah Beckwith. I don't agree with him often, but I do agree with him here with this as far as his analysis and thoughts on Hicks being not a conservative, I guess. But then in the very same time, I also completely agree with Michael J. Hicks about Prescott. Strange. So I just wanted that to be out there. And you'll have to read Hicks and determine for yourself on what he is or isn't. So, okay. Moving on from there, I want to tell you about Dustin Clark, okay? And I purposely have ran this a little short because of the information that I'm getting in that I need to get more information on, that we have to get more information on. This Dustin stuff is going to start going crazy, okay? I just feel like people are going to start dumping on us with it and giving us good information. I think Dustin is up against it. So I told you the other day that when we got the Dustin invoices in the last dump, we got invoices from his first invoice there ever all the way through November of 2024. Well, it's now February, and I said I probably should get invoices from December and January. So I filed a record request on February 6th for his invoices from December through February 6th. And I had them the next day. I had them within 24 hours. And that's just nuts. So looking through these, and we're going to go through these more once I get everything together, but I do want to lay this information out there. Let me count this real quick so I make sure I'm right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So in 7 months, over the course of 8 invoices, in 7 months, Dustin Clark, as a contract employee, has made a grand total of 65,000, or excuse me, whoa, that would be crazy. $25,889. So in 7 months as a contract employee, and that was before, that was with 1, 2, 3, 4. That was with 4 of the months not being under the new agreement. So I want to be very clear in saying that I fully believe that Dustin will be on track to easily crack over $100,000 this year. He will. That's so when we've been looking at his contract, and when we've been looking at, like the wording of the contract and how much he could make and what he's doing, I fully believe that he will make upwards of $100,000 this year. And I want you to understand that the mayor doesn't make that much. I want you to look here real quick. This is the invoice for January 1st through January 31st. Okay. So this is the invoice. You see that total down there? $8,000. $8,075.05. I want to let you hear what some of this stuff is. So listen to this. And ask
Christopher, do you have a total on what he's been paid just on this newest contract? Can we do that together?
Yeah, we can. I don't know, but we can find that out. Give me 1 second here. So, are we going from when they signed the contract?
Anything that's been invoiced as either Dustin Clark or this whatever the hell it is, municipal.
Well, it's all been invoiced as Dustin Clark in the past, or other than the Greenlight Resources, but so basically they signed.
They said the contract started on Halloween, right?
No, they signed it. Let me look real quick. They signed it on the 31st, but I want to make sure when it started. Let me look here real quick. It says right here in the very beginning.
Yeah, I think he was on payroll for the city almost until what, December 1st or something like that?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry.
No. They signed it on the 30th of October.
Okay.
And
well,
this contract shall be effective for 3 years. It shall commence the beginning of November 23rd, 2024.
So any invoices since then.
Okay. So.
And he's gone. He's left again.
I'm here.
Okay.
Let's see.
He's got to scratch his booty.
Yeah. So let's see here. Okay. Ready?
Sure.
1,072. So 1072. $45.65.95. $80.75.05. That's it.
Okay, so that's since November 23rd.
Yep.
Okay. That's $13,700.
13,000 what?
$700.
Okay.
In 2 months.
In 2 months. Yeah.
In 2 months.
So break that down. What is that? What is that an hour?
Oh my God. Or are we going that he's working 40 hours a week?
Well, I'm just saying, because he's not, but he works he says he works a lot. These invoices are he several hours each day.
Well, if he's working a 40-hour week, that's $43 an hour.
That's how much?
43.
Okay. So yeah, and let me tell you, that's what I was getting ready to do right before we do that. Let me tell you what we're looking at on this. It's nuts. So let's just look at this one that's for the beginning of the year. So this is the invoice from January 1st, 2024 through January 31st, 2025. What? Oh no. Yeah, I get it. It's January 1st, 2025 through January 31st, 2025. Okay. So he put he logged that on the very first day of the year.
And this is the 8775, right?
Yeah.
Or 807505.
807505.
Okay.
So on the very first day of the year, a holiday, when no one else was at City Hall, he's claiming that he clocked in at 9:32 a.m. and worked until 4:19 p.m. And the project was MRC 136. Description is MRC 136 forms at a rate of $125 an hour for 6.78 hours for a grand total of $847.50 on New Year's Day. Now let me tell you, this man drinks like a fish. Goes out. He's got a group of friends, and they call it boat night. And during the summer, they go out on this boat, out on the reservoir, and they drink bourbons, and they smoke cigars, and they're the the upper crust finer people in Muncie, and it's Dustin, and it's Mitch Isaacs, and it's Corey Olenkamp. Remember Corey Olenkamp?
Oh, God.
And
Corey
Judd.
Boy.
What?
Corey Bory?
No, wrong Corey Bory, but yeah, another Corey Bory. Judd Fisher, Lex Luthor. Sometimes Matt Kantz is all in this boat night gang, and he's a heavy drinker. And you think about New Year's, and you think about people celebrating and drinking.
Isn't City Hall locked? Sorry.
No, you're fine. Yeah, I assume it would be locked. Now, that I assume that Dustin has a key. There's nothing that would make me believe that he's he's not upper crust to me when the bastard is crawling around shed down. Hey, Stumblefoot, walk over and ask him if you can come to boat night. You need to come over and ask him if you can come to, tell him you'll bring some rollies. Okay, so $847.50 on New Year's Day.
I have another problem with that, though. Beyond the date of that, MRC.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't MRC have an executive director?
Yeah, that's weird.
Why the hell is the executive director not doing this work?
Yeah, right. Or someone on the board.
They get paid for.
Right. So are we paying? We're like double paying somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why Dustin's doing it, because Dan does it and gives it off to Jeff Howell. And so because Dan's doing it, Dustin, bitch boy Dustin, is doing it for Dan. So yeah. Okay. January 2nd, he clocked in at 8:26 a.m. and he clocks out at 1:17 p.m. And again, he was working on MRC, grant. And the description says MRC 136 forms, Homeland Security Generator Grant Research. Rate 125 for 4.85 hours for a grand total of $606.25. And then on 1/3, he clocked in at 10:45 a.m. and he worked until 5:18 p.m. And the project was assignment. And the description was Dora business paperwork. And there, his rate was only $60 an hour at 6.55 hours for $393.
Sounds like we need footage from the hallways at City Hall.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying, Dave. What are the odds that he was hungover? Very great. Now, here's the other issue, Alva and Kate. He doesn't have to work at City Hall to do this. He can work from home.
And how does he clock in? He just says he did?
He tells Michelle he clocked in. Michelle, I clocked in. Yeah, right. Michelle's the one that's doing these. I'm hearing that Michelle's the one that's doing these forms. Too. He's not even doing these forms. She puts them together for him. Let's see here. Let me get the dates.
Leach works remotely as well. They have ways to know when you're working at home and not.
Well, they're not working. They might have ways, but that's not happening with Dustin. And I would be shocked if it's happening with Leach. It's definitely not happening with Dustin. Dan wanted him to work from home. Dan did not want him to come in. And he forced himself into the office. He now has an office up there. Okay. So 1-1. Wednesday, 2-3. So then 1-6. Let's see. Some of these days he clocked in at like 7:12 a.m. Assigned admin intern. All right. Listen to this. 1:15. Wednesday, 1:15. He clocked in at 9:16 a.m. and he clocked out at 11:21 a.m. And his project was intern. And the description was training and orientation Peyton at a rate of $30 an hour for 2.08 hours, so 62.4.
Space Cat, I'm sorry. I hit the wrong button. I accidentally deleted that last comment about the bank. I did not mean to do that. I'm sorry.
Put up whatever that was again.
Yes, please put that back up. I apologize.
Okay, on 122. On 122, he clocked in and worked from 3:50 p.m. to 5:09 p.m. on SOTC. You know what that is? State of the City. AV issues and state of the city planning. Ooh!
Here it is. Oh, but that's the address for the new business, isn't it? The Hoyt Avenue. So if he's there, he's obviously working for the city. There it is. I know someone who works remotely for a bank, and they do check-ins with her throughout the day. Well, that, and if they wanted to, they could take her computer. Ah, yes.
Yeah. Sure.
The website
sure.
On, and
absolutely.
The timestamps on those.
Yeah. Clear. Yeah. Yeah, Alva, right. You know, I'm trying to find out. That's now the next question. After getting all of this, see, every time I get records, now I have new questions. So it's like, yeah, what? So it's like he has everything he needs at home. What's the deal with that? So I'm just letting you know that all day today, through today, people have been, a specific person has been sending me some things that they were still in the process of sending, and I was not getting just prior to coming on. So we've got more Dustin stuff that's coming up. So just stay with us. And I'm telling you out there, if any of you people out there have information on Dustin, get it to me. I will not burn you, and we need it. We need to get this going. This guy is doing the dirty. I'm telling you, and we need to stop it from happening. So I'll keep you posted. Okay. Before we roll, I just wanted to say, I watched the game last night, and I thought that the game last night was going to be really like WWF, like WWE, whatever it's called now, WCW, whatever it's called now. You know, I assumed it was going to be very scripted and whatever. And then the Eagles came out and gave the Chiefs a pounding. Dude, what in the world? It was amazing. Just absolutely amazing. So what an amazing game to watch them get pounded like that. I will say, a lot of people have been griping. A lot of people have been have just absolutely been griping about the commercials and the halftime show and everything. And listen, I am not a Kendrick Lamar fan. Like, I like rap music. I love all music, man. I was a drummer in a band. Not only was I the drummer in a band that played cover music, and I loved playing cover music, the weirder, the more, you know, if we could make an old-timey 1920s song into a new rock version, if we could play a rap song in a rock style or whatever, like we did shit like that. But on top of that, we also wrote and recorded and produced our own music, and I was very influential with that. You know, most of the time the drummers are just like, all right, tell me when you're ready for me. I wrote lyrics. I was one of the main lyric writers in our band. And while I can't really play guitar, I know chords, and I know music scale and music theory. And so like I would write music and help come up with that stuff. And so I love the creative process, and I love rap. I'm not a Kendrick Lamar fan. I primarily don't like it because rap is good to listen to. Rap at a concert isn't the same as having 5 or 6 musicians on a stage playing. I've always thought rap in a concert is weird when you've got like one guy just pressing buttons and one guy rapping. First and foremost, they hardly never rap full songs. Like, you go and you listen to Tom Petty, and the Heartbreakers, and they play Mary Jane's Last Dance from start to finish. Rap stars don't hardly ever, because there's so many features and so many different people on that aren't there when you're playing. They'll only do parts of songs, which are always weird. So to me, it doesn't really work for like halftime. Like, Prince was awesome. I liked the old school thing they did last year, or a couple years ago, where they brought out a whole bunch of older rappers. That was cool. I don't like Kendrick Lamar. However, there's a bunch of people bitching about things that were going on during the Kendrick Lamar halftime. And there's people saying, oh, you didn't get it. There was the message here, there. I want to look at this a different way. And I think it's very interesting to me. You know, the message last night in Kendrick Lamar's halftime, a lot of it had to do with stopping the sex trade and, calling out pedophiles and changing things like that in America, and calling people to get active and get involved, turn the TV off, game's over, quit playing the game. Okay. And so I'm not just going to hate on the Kendrick Lamar halftime deal just because I'm just going to hate on it. I'm just not going to do that. And looking at the whole the Super Bowl is a cultural phenomenon. The whole thing is very much like it's kind of like an Illuminati like special. It lets you know like the big things that are going to be happening in the next year. It's interesting to look and see all of the things that you can find, and all of the like, ooh, what's this supposed to mean, and what's this supposed to mean, and what is this supposed to mean? What's interesting to me is there was someone on Twitter that said, those that are complaining about the halftime show don't know the story behind Kendrick Lamar. He was mocking other popular rappers that like to diddle underage children. The most significant part was the point out to Drake and Diddy by saying, they not like us. They not like us. Extremely poignant at this time, don't you think? And I really thought that was, I really think that that's good. I thought that was interesting. I'm looking for this. There was one specific post that I was looking for. Give me 1 second. It's just the whole point, I guess, that if you looked at last night's whole production, it was not any of the massively progressive things that we've been seeing in years past. You had Uncle Sam. I didn't specifically see anything crazy satanic. They called out pedophiles, whatever you want to call them. They talked about turning the TV off, getting involved. They showed red, white, and blue, the American flag. And everybody's bitching about, oh, Kendrick Lamar didn't have any white people out there dancing. I don't give a shit. More power to him and his people, and that was whatever. But I just think it's interesting. To me, it had a very America's back type of message, and I just think that's interesting. First Super Bowl a sitting president was at. Trump was there, and I just think that's very, very, very interesting. And I want to end on this last little clip from CNN. I want to make sure I can get this up here. Yeah, okay, here we go. I wanna here we go. So we're gonna end with this CNN clip. And I hope that we don't get copyrighted for this. We shouldn't get copyrighted for this because this should be.
Keep your face on the screen and talk.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm not going away. We shouldn't get fair use. I mean, this should be fair use. So here we go. Let me get this pulled up. Yeah. Oh, okay. Listen to this now.
Again, whoa. Entire first term, just 11 days, Donald Trump had a net positive approval rating. Compare that to the second term, just so far, every single day of Trump's second term so far, he has been on the positive side of the ledger. 21 days, all 3 weeks. That's already 10 more days than he was in his entire first term. So again, this is just another sign that Americans are far more likely to like what they're seeing.
Like what they're seeing. I tell you, it's happening out there somewhere. Somewhere people are liking what they're seeing. This is like the first big dump of approval ratings are out, and ABC poll has him at like 55% of Americans like what they're seeing out of Trump. I think they said 58% thinks that he's capable of doing a good job. 52% think that we're headed in the right direction. Wild. So, I just don't know where. I like to know who they're asking because according to my social media feed, the world is ending, So, all right, ladies and gentlemen, you have a wonderful rest of the night. Hey, listen, tune in right here tomorrow morning at 10:30 if you want to watch the committee on the Utilities, Energy, and Telecommunications Committee talking about 1628. By the status, by the agenda, the stats of where the bill is in the agenda, I would say it's going to be about an hour into it before we hear the bill, just FYI. But you might want to just tune on and check back and forth. We'll keep it up and running. I'll be monitoring it. We'll show you what's happening there. That'll be big. That's Tuesday. Then Wednesday, we'll be back at 10:30. Obviously, tomorrow we have a commission or a council meeting in the evening. We'll be live streaming that, and we'll do a show tomorrow night, then tell you at 9 p.m. And we'll be here all the rest of the week. You guys take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. Have a wonderful night's sleep. Have a great Tuesday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night. Be sure to give us the thumb on your way out the door. Don't leave without hitting like, and go from there. You guys take care. Have a good evening. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.